Hi everyone, right, just a little tip of the day for some of you sewers who really want to start making trousers, but in a kind of a professional way. I've seen many sewers, they get patterns, and whether it's commercial patterns or these, now there's a load of these companies have popped up these made to measure. You just put your measurements in and they send you a pattern. Always remember, there is no such thing as a perfect pattern. It does not exist. Please understand that. It does not exist. It's the fittings of your clothes, your garments, that will create the master pattern for you. So always remember that. So you either make mock-ups, or in my profession, a lot of the tailors, I'll show you now, we add inlays. Inlays is extra fabric. That's usually on the side seams, you can see here, and on the back seat seam here. And usually I would put it at the top here as well. So if you're going to make a pair of trousers, even a mock-up or in the real fabric, which I've got here, the real fabric, you always leave it inlay on your seam here. And this is permanent, because when a client or yourself puts on weight, you just let it out. And it's usually about 1.5 inches, 1.25 to 1.5 inches. You see, so this actually goes down and it graduates down, tapers to a seam. So you don't want it bulky underneath. You don't want too much excess as it goes as it goes down into the crotch area. So it's usually about 1.25 inches. I'll just zoom in for you here. About 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches at the top here. You can leave about 1 inch. I do recommend everyone leaves 1 inch inlay at the top of the waist of the underside and the top side, because I've seen many sewers, they have a tight crotch, and that's because their trouser rise is too short and their crotch is too narrow here. It's not wide enough there. So leave 1 inch inlay here. I'll just chalk it for you there. Leave your inlay 1.5 inches here, 1.25 inches, 1.5 on your back seat seam, then that's permanent. And then on the inside leg of your back leg, you can leave 3/4 inch. Now sometimes we'll go down to the knee. There's your knee here, so they'll just taper it off to nothing here. So you leave 1/4 inch, which you can see I've done, sorry, 3/4 inch here. But in my case, I've gone down all the way down to the hem, so you can leave 3/4 inch all the way down the hem if you want. And because some customers, you have a try on and they go, oh, I want it wider, and then you're stuffed because you haven't put an extra, what we call an inlay. So you can have it all the way down to the hem, or it will taper off to nothing at the knee here. And also on the side seam here, you can put about 1 inch, 3/4 inch to 1 inch extra all the way down the side, just in case you might have cut it too narrow. Because I said patterns are not perfect. Even though I've cut this out, the pattern, I've still got to have fittings. So, and because this is a different style for my clients, I've put extra inlay in on the side seam of the back, only on the back usually, the back and the inside leg, and on the seat seam here, and that's permanent, that is. And usually you'd put 1 inch at the top of the waist on the top side and the underside. Once you're happy with that, once you've got the happy fittings, you can trim all of this off. So that side seam would go back to its original seam. The waist would go back to its original seam. This could be cut down to the knee, because that would be left permanent in, just in case he puts a bit of weight on the crotch. You can let it out, and his thigh becomes a little bigger. You can let it out there. So hopefully that's helped you all, and I'll see you very shortly on my next vlog. Ciao.